Luke, hey, congratulations on The Chosen Last Supper.
Oh, thanks, Gig. It's a group effort, really.
It's it is really a group effort because this is such a group that we love to watch on screen, and now everyone has a chance to stream it into their homes. But you know, being for several seasons so far, what do you suppose is the contribution to its success so far?
Honestly, I think it's just good television. The thing Dallas Jenkins, the creator of the show, went in uh, trying to make is just a good TV show based on the scripture that he grew up with and believes. But I think his primary thing is he didn't want to just make something that everyone's seen already. He worked really hard to make uh, characters stand out, the story become more intimate and human. Like he really put so much effort into adding a thumbprint that was uniquely his as a creative that has now and has been seen very successful from the show, putting his spin on it. I think it speaks for itself how much this story has stood not stood past, stood against. It stands on its own compared to other tellings of the Jesus story. It really is unique, genuine, and all around incredibly engaging. So I think that's really what makes it stand out. Stand out. Oh my goodness, it was stand out this entire time. That was the phrase. Good Lord.
Now, I do have to ask is for yourself because you're playing such a pivotal character. How does it feel playing the most hated man in the Bible?
Oh my goodness, it's fantastic. It's like middle school all over again. I genuinely he has so much hate. Naturally so much hate. Dogmatic, religious, and taught hate. But growing up reading the story, I never really hated him that much. He always just seemed like a sad individual. And so, coming from a theatrical background of loving Shakespeare's and tragedies and the Romeo and Juliet's, the Mac, we're not in a theater, Macbeth, I can say his name. It, I was already immediately intrigued by him. I think he's incredibly complicated. I think people take his character for granted, and a story of betrayal, I think, uh, is often presented, but I think a story of despair and uh, like self-forgiveness is the much more poignant lesson to take away from Judas, at least from my experience playing him now for a few years. And everyone's been super nice. I mean, uh, on the internet, I think people are a bit more bold, but the moment anytime someone's recognized me in person, they're very much just very kind, first and foremost. And then they shit talk me once I've turned my back, and everything's fine.
The character that you play on the series, because you could tell Judas is actually struggling for this, and he has a genuine love for Jesus. Can you tell us about getting into that mental capacity of Judas in this series? Because truly this is a different perspective. You could tell he's struggling with all this with the expansion of this character.
Oh, absolutely. I think the it's not as difficult as one could perceive because I think what he goes through is something that any of us, I think most of us, consistently go through with any big decision. Now, we have the virtue of hindsight on our hands. Like we know how the story is going to end, but I'm pretty sure anyone's been in a situation where your anxieties and your fears sometimes get the better of you and you don't know if the thing you're about to bet your entire life on is going to fully pay out. You don't know if your decisions, especially if you're in a situation that might not end well, in a situation where in previous seasons you've lost friends, people have died, you've dedicated your entire life to a movement that's supposed to uh, come out on top. But if you start noticing cracks in the surface, which Judas isn't the only disciple who notices, this is a culmination for the entire group because Jesus knows that he's going to die. But the rest of us are confused and scrambling, trying to make sense of what he's trying to warn us of. And in that fear, in that panic, you can see how each character and each of the disciples decides to react and decides to deal with that information. And you see Judas's inevitable implosion into himself out of frustration, confusion, and fear, needing some kind of structure. It's something I think was almost natural in a way to connect to as a performer, especially in an industry that in itself is uh, not always as secure as you'd like it to be, trying to reach out and grasp something constructive. It's blatantly chaotic, and I think you see him just naturally fall into that chaos this season, which is just fun. It's just fun to play.
Especially the fact that this season Dallas has a tonal shift because it almost feels like a spy thriller, and you're in the center of it.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, everything. You remember when the Harry Potter movies were coming out? I think everybody was aware that the Warner Brothers logo kept getting darker at every intro, and things were stopped being like "woo, fun Hollywood spooky" to "oh no, there's child murdering in this one. Surprise! There goes Cedric Diggory." Uh, this one, this season, absolutely. I think the fun times are behind us. It's you can see the political uh, lines start to be crossed between the powers that be at the Sanhedrin and the political negotiations between Pilate, the governor of Jerusalem, the Roman governor of Jerusalem, and Herod, the king, as well as Caiaphas, the head of the Sanhedrin. Like these are all the heads of their respective groups clashing and arguing over the the public uh, uproar that Jesus is causing. So it really does feel like not only are you getting the surface story that you know, but now you're getting to see behind the curtain of the socio-political game that's being played in the background that leads to certain decisions like sentencing someone to death for public disturbance. That was where air quotes. I don't know if anyone's going to see it. I realize.
No, they'll see that. No, we get the point. Luke, I watched the previous four seasons, and I have to admit, you guys walked so much. So what was it a relief that you guys are at a single location in Jerusalem on set, and none of this walking anymore in those sandals?
Weirdly enough, I don't worry, the sandals still exist. Can't escape those. But I kind of miss the walking. I've had to get my cardio elsewhere outside of my own time, which has been fun. But I will say this, the walking I miss. I do not miss the heat because we're all in a singular location, and a lot of it is locations with walls and roofs and sound stages. This past season to film was a gift, a gift, because with sound stages comes centralized air and AC. So that was cooling units were very much a welcome process for this recent season. So that made things easier.
Well said. Well, let me wrap it up with one last question. Are you ready to say goodbye?
Weirdly enough, yes. It's been half a decade that I've dedicated to this show and to this role. And when I was younger, it never made sense to me. I'm like, oh my goodness, if it's a good role and you're being paid well, and why would you ever want it to end? But weirdly enough, I think I understand it now. There's c coming into this role, I knew how his story was going to end, so it feels like I've fully completed what I needed to do with this character, and I'm excited to say goodbye. And I'm excited to see how people uh, interact and treat this character now that his story is fully complete. If they either enjoy it more, or if they're like, "Eh, it was a bit disappointing. They could have cast maybe someone better," but we'll see. I'm happy with the completed journey, and I'm excited to see it reach its conclusion.
Well, we can't wait for everyone to see it not only this season and the next season. So, Luke, thank you very much for speaking to us about The Chosen Last Supper. Everyone could actually stream that now. So, thank you.
Yes, June 15th, Amazon Prime Video. Check it
Absolutely.
out. Do it.
Thank you.
Go now. Link.
Bye now.
Thank you so much.